YouTube world? It's another episode of the Carolina Sports Guy. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the 15 greatest linebackers in Carolina Panthers history. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, hit the bell icon to be notified of future content like this, and please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Carolina fans, Carolina North, Carolina South, everybody in between, it's one Carolina. Okay, we're going to look at the 15 greatest linebackers in Carolina Panther history. I kind of ranked them. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with my assessment of these 15. And some of them are out of order as far as the number of games they played, or I didn't really go and look at how many interceptions or touchdowns they scored, or, anything like that. These guys stood out one way or the other, and I decided it's just a good idea to kind of bring up these 15 men and the accomplishments that they've made for the Carolina Panthers. Number 15 is going to be Mark Fields. Now, Mark Fields played briefly for the New Orleans Saints. He came to the Carolina Panthers. He played for Washington State in college. He played 2002 and 2004. And he had some sicknesses and illnesses about around the same time that Sam Mills was on our coaching staff when he was going through his battle with cancer and the whole keep pounding mentality. But he played in 29 games and he accumulated 25 starts, 165 overall tackles. But Mark Fields really, especially during the time what was going on with Sam Mills as a coach and this team, this franchise, gaining an identity, the toughness behind it. And Mark Fields was the player behind the coach of Sam Mills that was going through this struggle, what he was dealing with his sickness. But he still was a decent player on the field. And we're going to put him at number 15, Mark Fields. Okay? Number 14, looking at my list, this guy really loved his game, and I hated seeing him leave. And to the damn dreaded Saints is where he went. And now I think he's still in the league, maybe for the Giants or somewhere else. But it's a guy by the name of A.J. Klein, who the Panthers drafted in the 3rd or 4th round out of Iowa State. It was a Dave Gettleman pick. He played 2013 to 2016. Now, it does need to be brought up. Kuechly went out the second week. I believe it was the game against Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. It might have even been the first week. But that magical 15-1 season where he went to the Super Bowl and lost. A.J. Klein filled in admirably for Luke Kuechly. And as a matter of fact, we didn't lose any games when A.J. Klein was in there. Their drop-off was significant, but not enough. He kept it going with that great defense we had. But A.J. Klein played 60 games for the Panthers from 2013 to 2016. 23 starts. And he had 146 overall tackles. He was definitely a 4th linebacker in this mix, and that's why the Saints linebackers were not as good as ours. So when he went there, he made them a better team. But I appreciate the contributions of A.J. Klein. Don't know him personally, but I know he lost his father when he was playing with us. And, sad when things like that happen. But you look at these players, and you really don't know them as people, but realize they do go through things. And I just he's probably never going to see the video, let him know that I'm sorry about the loss of your father when you were playing. I know it kind of hit him hard when that was going on. All right, next 13 on the list, Nile Diggs, who actually played for the Green Bay Packers, come out of Ohio State University, the Ohio State University, I should say. 61 games for the Panthers, 46 starts for the Panthers. 2006, 2009 is when he played, he had a total of 212 tackles. And he was, during that period of 2006, 2009, he was pretty rock solid. He was a very good linebacker for us. All right, now we're going to get down to linebacker number 12, Lester Towns. Player that I believe we drafted from the University of Washington. He played with us from 2000 to 2002, again in 2003, 55 games total, 30 starts. He accumulated 222 tackles. Very solid contributor when we did have Towns. And I believe he was there when we had that magical Super Bowl run with Jake Delhomme and Peppers and the first time we made the Super Bowl 38. Okay. Number 11, guy who I believe ended up playing for the Giants. I think he was from Dallas, Texas. Might even play for the Cowboys, but Played his college ball at the University of Miami. We've had some really good linebackers from Miami. Michael Barrow. He played 48 games for the Panthers from 1997 to 1999. Accumulated 324 total tackles. So the short stint he was with the Panthers, he was a tackle machine. He did pretty well with us. Okay. Number 10 on the list. Number 10, we're going to look at these linebackers, and we're going to look at Kevin Green. A lot of people know who Kevin Green is. You know, this is a guy that was in the league before the Panthers were a team. He played for the Steelers for a while, played for the LA Rams, was just a monster in the game. And he played in 3 seasons for the Panthers. The first season in 1996, Kevin Green played. Awesome job. Then he went away. He might even went to San Francisco. I could be wrong about that. But he comes back in 98, 99, played a total of 47 games for the Panthers, accumulated 149 tackles. The beautiful thing about him, you know, not many people remember when Reggie White, the defensive lineman for the Eagles, when he was washed up, he kind of played his career and finished out with the Panthers for a year. Didn't do a whole lot, but he's number 2 all-time in sacks. Well, number 3 was Kevin Green, so he got some sacks with us, and he's a Panther too. Of course, number 4 was Julius Peppers, who played many years for the Panthers. Was a half a sack behind him. So sacking the quarterback is something definitely we've had guys in our lineup before, but Kevin Green could play that defensive end role and he played the linebacker role. He just passed away earlier this year, greatly missed. I know last time I seen him on the field, he was assistant coach, defensive coach for the Green Bay Packers. But the guy really, man, even in wrestling, things like that, Kevin Green was truly an athlete, and somebody would be missed. Number 9, same period of time as Kevin Green, Lamar Lathon from the University of Houston. I think he might have actually played for the Houston franchise. He played somewhere else. But anyway, came in from 1995 to 1998. He played in 48 games with the Panthers, and he amassed a total of 205 tackles. Okay, great player with us early on. I believe he even had a tattoo of a cougar because he went to Houston. And a lot of people say, yeah, it kind of translates over to a Panther. You know, a lot of people don't see a difference, especially in a tattoo. Number 8, it's one of my all-time favorite players, man. I say linebacker number 4 because, yeah, he ended up starting many times as a third linebacker. But a lot of times he was the guy on the bench at special teams and would be the linebacker to come in and spell somebody. James Anderson, right up the road from me in Chesapeake, Virginia. I live in North Carolina, but it's like 45 minutes away. But James Anderson from that area went to Virginia Tech. He was drafted by the Panthers 2006 to 2012. Played in 94 total games for the Panthers. Had 53 starts. I believe he went on to play for the Bears after he left us, as we were upgrading the position. But he had 455 tackles. And James Anderson, 8th best linebacker in Panther history, was a very good pick. Awesome guy. And I really loved the game that we had. So we got a lot of use out of his play. Okay. Number 7, Will Witherspoon. Here's a guy during the first Super Bowl run that we had. Very good player from the University of Georgia. He played from 2002 to 2005. Played in a total of 62 games for the Panthers. He had 55 starts, 354 tackles. Will Witherspoon, on the other side, I believe Dan Morgan was a monster. Very good linebacker. I love this game. Okay. Number 6, we're going to look at currently a guy we got. A lot of people don't see his game as being as good, but hey, longevity, my friend. 2015 to currently 2021 this year, Shaq Thompson's played 76 games for the Panthers. Starting, well, I say 76. He started 76 games. He's actually played in 86 games. Amassing 470 tackles. But drafted out of the University of Washington, it was a guy I wanted coming out because he is a guy that he's probably too big now to play safety. It's kind of what the chin position where he could play safety, the linebacker. Been a really good weak side linebacker. Of course, he was there. I believe we drafted him after the Super Bowl year where we got him at. Actually, I believe he was a rookie Super Bowl year. But the 470 tackles Shaq Thompson's accumulated, and he's just an athlete. You got to kind of put him in this range at number 6. A lot of people don't rank him as that good, but when you're playing with Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly and you're the third linebacker, it's a lot easier to shine than when you're the man and you don't have help. To hear Whitehead, you got to have help. So, all right, now we're getting to the nitty gritty of the list. The top 5 linebackers all time, the Carolina Panthers. Number 5 is a linebacker I love to death. Concussions, injuries kind of cut him short. Dan Morgan from the University of Miami, 2001 to 2007. He played in 59 games, 390 tackles. I believe in Super Bowl 38, he had like 25 tackles during the Super Bowl, which was at the time a Super Bowl record. I don't even know if it's been beat. But Dan Morgan played his butt off and really love his game. And now recently he's been named as our assistant general manager. So I'm excited about that. And here's another guy that when he left us and his career was over because of injuries, he wanted to make a comeback, and the damn Saints signed him. Thank God that he ended up, I can't remember him being cut or he retired, but he never actually played it down for the Saints, thank God, because that would have been ugly. Number 4 on the list, another protege at linebacker from the University of Miami, none other than John Beeson. I love this pick. In fact, I remember going down to training camp, and this was the day in a period before we actually had rookies signed before camp. He was holding out. I went that first week, and he signed a couple days after I left from training camp. I didn't get to meet him or see him down there. But from 2007 to 2012, John Beeson was a hell of a linebacker for the Panthers. 72 games played, 71 starts. He amassed a total of 572 tackles. And of course, if he would have never got injured, he was the man in the middle. When Luke came in looking pretty mediocre his first 2 or 3 games as an outside linebacker, once Luke got in the middle when John Beeson was done for a while, he wasn't giving that spot back up. Beeson came back and played the outside a bit, but he was an inside guy. We ended up working a trade, and he went to the Giants and finished career there, I believe. But a lot of mad respect for John Beeson. He was a hell of a linebacker for the Panthers. All right, number 3. Number 3, linebacker from Montclair State out of New Jersey, played in the United States Football League with the Philadelphia Baltimore Stars. Ended up having an illustrious career, believe it or not, for the New Orleans Saints. But he came on at the end of his career for the Carolina Panthers. His name is Sam Mills. 1995 to 1997, only 48 games. Why is he ranked so high with only 331 tackles? Because he what he meant to this franchise. You don't get a statue at a franchise. I mean, the very first game we won, folks, it was week 6. We're playing in Clemson, South Carolina, playing the Jets. He had like a kind of a fluky fumble in the air interception for a touchdown in that game. We won our very first game. He scored in that game. Got us to our very first playoff win against Dallas. And then he was a coach when he came down with cancer and he died, and he had to keep pounding the motto, number 51 will never be worn again by any player. And you got to look at that, man. I mean, he was the man, Sam Mills. He's the 3rd best linebacker in Carolina Panther history. All right, the top 2. There's no debating the top 2. Number 2, from the University of Georgia, 2006, 2018, 176 games played, 158 he started, 1,098 tackles, most all-time for a Carolina Panther, Thomas Davis. Look, this guy had his knee wrecked 3 times. The 3rd time I was like, dude, whatever, please give it up, go away. Yeah, I hate doing that with players. I've seen it in Jordan Stallwood hockey with the Hurricanes. But they want to play and win, and they got that mentality, and they fight back, and you end up, you'll eat to play the crow. I'm glad Thomas Davis came back, and Jerry Richardson and staff gave him a chance to earn it, because he really showed that mentality. In that 2015 season, he was a monster. The guy played with a broken arm in the Super Bowl. He is Mr. Carolina Panther through and through. Cam Newton's the best athlete we've ever drafted. Steve Smith is my favorite all-time player. But the heart and soul of the Carolina Panthers is Thomas Davis. And he's our 2nd rated linebacker of all time. Number one linebacker. Should have had a longer career, in my opinion, and maybe I'm just jealous because he's in retirement and we don't have any more. But that would be none other than Luke Kuechly. Picked him number 8 or 9 out of Boston College in the first round, 2012 to 2019, 118 games played. Defensive Player of the Year in 2013 for the whole league. He amassed 1,092 tackles. And there's a small part of me that believes Luke knew he only needed 6 more tackles to break Thomas Davis' record. And maybe he felt Thomas deserved it. And that's kind of crazy to think about. But Luke's that kind of guy. He looked at John Beeson and he looked at Thomas Davis to learn from. And it's just a shame because I really do believe that Luke Kuechly, I want to say he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I really believe he is. 8 years. The only thing that will keep Luke Kuechly at the Hall of Fame, I just think is longevity. If he could have played, he had 1 more year on his contract. I think if he could have played last year and this year here and played 10 years, he's definitely, especially if his play wouldn't have fallen off, he's definitely would have been 100% sure Hall of Famer. The only little regret I have for the man is he didn't get us the Super Bowl. The guy's awesome. Great player. And that's why I'm supporting the number 59 jersey today. So Luke Kuechly's the number 1 rated linebacker of all time. So folks, what do you think of my list? Do you have somebody rated higher? Somebody I left off? Somebody you think I should have mentioned? Well, I just want you to give me a thumbs up. Hit that bell icon to be notified for more content like this. Subscribe, folks. It doesn't cost anything. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Carolina Sports Guy.